Welcome to the waiting room. And today, a little hipster treat, guys. And some people might look at this game and say, that's a Kusoge. It isn't. It's actually a really, really well thought out fighting game from the 90s that has, in my opinion, aged pretty well, all things considered. Especially when you consider the other games that came out in that era. Think back, you've got your Evil Zones, you've got your Battle Arena Toshindens, not everything has aged gracefully, so to speak. But this game absolutely did, and this game is Psychic Force by Taito. Now, unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a big following behind this game, and I think that's unfortunate because this game was actually probably their most popular fighter, and every time this game has shown up at a gathering or whatever, people always enjoy it. And I have a lot of friends who they fondly remember it. It's like a classic fighting game, and yet no one really thinks about it. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for a GameFAQs, made in 2000 that I used as the basis for this video, I probably wouldn't be making this either, because the information out there is so scarce about this game. But you know what? Let's learn it. Let's learn it together. And let's pick it up with the main character, Light. Or at least the main character of this game, which is 2012. So Psychic Force, the first one came out in 1997, I want to say, for PlayStation. I had it, and it was a pretty great game on the PlayStation. Horrible English dub notwithstanding. One of the things that stood out to me and to a lot of people is the soundtrack is absolutely fantastic, and you can hear right now in the background is Might's theme, which I believe is called Tears and Flow. Just let it sit in for a minute. Alright. You'll hear it. You'll hear it throughout this video. But anyhow, what separates Psychic Force from pretty much every other fighter made is, you're looking at it. This is, I guess, the ultimate air dasher. You're never standing. You're always floating in this plane, right? And there's this box that's kind of cubed you in. So within the confines of this box, you're going to be fighting your opponent. And you have, it's a 3-button game. So let's go over the buttons. Let's go over what the attacks do. So this game does have proximity normals. You have light, strong, and guard. Guard is exactly what it seems like. Press the guard button, you guard, right? Light attack, up close, gives you a jab. Strong attack gives you a strong attack that knocks back. But from afar, a light attack gives you a small projectile, and a strong attack gives you a bigger projectile that drains your meter, as you can see there. When your meter is drained, you can regenerate it by standing still. If you guard, since you can't move, you will regain meter, but at a slower rate. And lastly, by pressing all 3 buttons to get a charge. So let's drain all our meter and see how quickly a charge will get it all back. Very simple. You turn on inputs, actually. Yep, right there. So those are your 3 basic buttons. So we went over our attacks, right? Those are just your normals. Although it should be said that your Far Strong is considered a special move. And that we'll go into more as we do the combos. So, moving on from there. As you do as you do normals, you'll notice that there are certain strings you can do. For example, light, 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 light. Light, 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 S. Seems like the same, and it kind of is. Light, S, light. And So here's the thing. Some of these strings are actually special cancelable. Oh, it's too far. And you'll notice that I got a move there because I managed to bounce them back to the wall. But you get the idea. We'll go more further into depth in the combo system later, but I just want to give you an idea that some strings are cancelable, some of them aren't. Let's go into the guarding. So you have your normal guard, right? Now, normal guard will block light attacks, but it will not keep you in place. That's one of the problems you have. Now you'll see even though I'm guarding, I'm getting pushed back quite a bit. Now, you see that wall bounce back there. If you get wall bounce, you're actually prone during that status, unless you use certain maneuvers, defensive maneuvers, let's say. You can actually circumvent that. So you'll notice I did a special guard there, the one that drains your meter. It only pushed me back a little bit. That's what barrier guard is for. Another thing is, when you're doing barrier guard, hold on. When you're doing barrier guard, oh, come on. Yeah, when you're doing barrier guard, you cannot be wall bounced. The barrier guard protects you from it. So meter is very important in this game. Let me see, a few other things. You also have one more guard thing you can use, and that is retreat barrier. So you'll see what I did there. If you manage to have enough space between you and the wall, you can use something called retreat barrier, which lets you recover very quickly, more quickly than you normally would. And it basically, you saw like right there, you saw how quickly I recovered. I think it costs about 50% meter. It's a bit of a more advanced mechanic, but it is invaluable if you want to avoid damage. So moving on from that, we have, well, not yet, we're not done. We haven't even gotten into movement. So let's cover movement right now. As you've seen me, I've been dashing around. So you have three kinds of dash in this game. You have your normal dash, which is your neutral dash, right? Actually, technically your normal dash is your directional dash. Let's do directional dash first. It's the simplest one to explain. Directional dash is simple. You press any direction, and then you press both attack buttons. Oh, I missed a little weird dash there. I wonder what that is. We'll go into that in a second. Dashing costs no meter. It is completely free and lets you move around. Now, you'll notice that this directional dash moves pretty quick, right? Compared to just moving. You also have your neutral dash, which is also considered quick dash. See, it covered a lot more ground, and it brought me towards my opponent. And there is a difference here. So, when you're doing a directional dash, you cannot cancel that animation. Whatever you do will come out after you finish doing the directional dash. Right? So, with the neutral dash, or quick dash, if you press a light attack, you'll get a light attack out of it. And if you press a strong attack, you'll get a strong attack out of it. But you can also cancel it into specials, which you cannot do with the directional dash. Lastly, there is the slide dash. There's one thing I'm forgetting with the quick dash, but I'll get back to it. Slide dash is, simply put, it's a way to get you around your opponent's defense. You'll see right here, it kind of like turns them around, it goes around them. So if you think they're going to press a button, you can just sort of slide dash around. Again, costs no meter. So movement is very free in this game. Movement is very easy to do. Alright, going back to the quick dash, you'll notice that when you do the quick dash, it has a little bit of a different like animation there. There's a bit of a blue effect on the dash itself. And what that is light attacks can be circumvented with it. So you see there, I did 2 dashes, right? The second one, I bounced off his Might's light projectile. That's what it's for. Well, that's one of the strengths of it. Is it's similar to, I guess, a Super Dash from Dragon Ball FighterZ. So, if you could think of Super Dash, it's basically the same thing. Slightly different, but more or less the same basic mechanic. Talking about charge, so we covered the ways you could charge your meter, right? There is another way you can charge your meter. You'll see here that you actually share a health bar and a meter, right? And the way the game works actually is as you take damage, your potential meter can increase. So right now, my maximum meter is 100%. If I were to take damage, which I can't in training mode, I can't really simulate it. But if I were to take damage, say I would take about 50%, right? Then my meter could actually go up to about 150%. Now, like I said, I can't replicate this properly, but I can show you. I can show you how it basically works with a related mechanic, we'll say. So we covered how charge, you press all 3 buttons, right, to gain your meter back. A lot of this game is like knockdown, charge, knockdown, charge. So once you get your Oki, you charge, and then you set up your next situation. So there is a way to charge called a hypercharge. Now, if you'll see that little number under Might's character portrait there, it has 100 POW, power. If you do a 360-degree motion and then charge, you get something called a hypercharge. It drains your health at the expense of getting more meter, but it also raises your power level. So I'm going to do a simple combo with Might. You'll see how much damage it does. 297 damage, which is respectable. Let's see what happens if I hypercharge to 20%. Alright, I got 126. Same combo. 375. Substantial increase. And you also notice that my meter is now at 126. So, Might actually has a special move. It's sort of like an advancing attack that he can also cancel into itself. That thing right there, right? Now, normally, at only 100 meter, because it costs 40, you can only get 2 of those. Right? But, since I have supercharged, well, I was supercharged. Yeah, that's good damage. But, when you're supercharged, you can get up to 3. Little benefits here and there. I would say it's a little bit of a gimmick, the hypercharge, that is, because you are draining your health. But going up to 120 is not a bad choice. 396 damage for that, that's not bad. 358, that's not bad. But it's not something I see often in high-level play. But anyways, I think that covers pretty much all the mechanics. We're missing a few. Okay, so you can break barriers in this game. So let's go over that. So you'll see there, I lost 50% of my meter, but I broke their barrier and they took 180 damage. That is simply barrier break. Barrier break is all you need to do is press any direction, and I believe it's any direction. Yeah, any direction and a strong attack, and you'll get it, as long as you have 50% meter. And, let's see. Now, here's the thing. The move will work unless your opponent uses a normal guard. A normal guard will actually block it completely. But yeah, it will break barrier 100%. And it gets a hard knockdown. So you can set up afterwards. We didn't cover throws, but it's guard and light. Get a hard knockdown. or a pushback. If you hit them at the wall, it's a hard knockdown. And what we're missing now is the Psi Impulse. So if you're people who played Guilty Gear will be familiar with this, but this is basically this game's version of a Psych Burst. So you'll notice when I woke up there, it had this big wave of effect, right? Okay, well, it's a little hard to replicate, but so it's called Cyan Pulse, and what it is it costs 25% of your meter, and you mash light. It's best used after like a wall bounce or a hard knockdown. Yeah, I can't seem to get it after like a regular knockback, but after a wall knockback. So one of the differences is it actually does how to describe it? It actually does cost damage. If your opponent gets hit with it, they take 120 damage. It only costs, I think, 25% meter. You want to treat it as a form of counterattacking, but like the retreat, it is a way to get them off you. So we're gonna take I'm gonna take a little break for a second, and when I come back, we will go into the combo system. All right, and we are back, and I'm actually going to use my favorite character, Regina, to show this off. So I'm going to show off the combo system of the game. Every character has universal strings depending on their weight. Regina is a middleweight character, meaning she has 3 strings, which is light, 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 which is not cancelable, light, strong, which is cancelable, and light, light, strong, which is also cancelable. Regina gets most of her damage off of wall bounces, right? So, the combo structure of the game is, depending on your character's weight, you're going to have a certain string that is cancelable. In Regina's case, 2 of them are. One of them is better for mid-range when you don't have the wall bounce, which is that one right there. And the other one is for when you do get the wall. So a lot of this game is, if you're playing a character who relies more on combos, is spacing, knowing how far back the wall is, knowing when to barrier, right? Someone like Regina, if she has you in the corner or against the wall, you see there, I went for my super, but I wasn't close enough to actually get it. So it's knowing which of your specials you're going to use in that situation, right? So right there I got a wall bounce, but I couldn't follow it up. So you need to sort of figure out what you can get and what you can't. Let's do something simple here. Let's just go for a throw. Right there. And a hard knockdown. By the way, once you're bounced off the wall, the second time you get wall, you get a wall hit in a combo, they will get a hard knockdown, and they're just going to fall flat, right? So there's no real infinites in this game, but there is some really like oppressive stuff you can do. And I didn't even go over this with with Might, but I guess I'll go over it now. Certain characters are going to have specific traits to them and their moves that other characters won't. For example, Might can redirect his lightning beam, right? By holding the strong attack button and then letting go of it when he wants to do it. Another thing is though, you can aim your attacks. And the reason one of the reasons this is possible is because all attacks are going to be universal, no matter what input you do, as long as it's the right input. For example, Regina's Flame Whip is a half circle command. I'm going to do half circle forward toward Keith. All right, now I'm going to do half circle back. Same move, half circle up. So, whichever way you're comfortable doing the move is the way you're going to do it, right? And the same thing goes for back forward or forward back. That's the same move. Same thing goes for super. Back forward forward. Nah, that's not it. Forward forward back. Oh, that's... There you go. And I think I went over barrier break. Yeah, 50%. Get a hard knockdown. But yeah, you want to make sure your combos are good because at any point they can interrupt with a barrier of their own or if they hit you, retreat barrier or something like that. Which, let's let the opponent to do it. Let's do a long string. By the way, if you want to test if your stuff is real, yeah, like you can cost them 50% meter, but technically everything's real if they don't have the meter. See right there. So a lot of it is like, let's see, a lot of it is like playing that game. See right there, finish the combo, don't go for the follow-up. Oh, I didn't have the meter. Get your knockdown. Yeah. So meter management is very important. I think that's basically the gist of it. But yeah, in Regina's case, we just went over those combos. That's basically her bread and butter. So you want to learn what your character's bread and butter is. For Regina, it's that very basic string there. Light, light, strong, back, forward, strong. Or forward, back. Or down, up. Because it's a very easy confirm. And remember, you can... everything's bufferable in this game. During a dash, you can buffer a special move, right? During attack string, you can buffer a special move. You can buffer damn near anything. It's just a question of knowing what to do and when, knowing what your good attacks are. Regina's a little limited, sadly. But yeah, her specials, I was going to go over traits earlier. Let me do that now. Mike can redirect his lightning. Regina can hold on to her strong attack. By itself, it's just that, right? Let me hold down the button. Okay, no real difference. You hold down and let it go. Ah, little gunshot right there. Little shotgun. So, each individual little shotgun attack there, those are all lights, so they can be super dashed through. But if the opponent is using a barrier, they'll just eat it up, right? And if Regina wants to, she can just not let go of the button at all and let it rock. Same thing right here with the whip. I can press nothing, let it come out in a straight line. Let's say I think my opponent's going to go up. See, right now we're at the bottom of this stage, right? Let's say I think my opponent's going to fly upward. I can aim it up. Now, a lot of that comes with practice, but you get the idea. Most of your specials can be manipulated in some way to play with the space. And even Regina, who's a very straightforward character with not a lot of... She doesn't have a big bag of tricks. She can do things like that. She also has this projectile that I can detonate by pressing... It's a half circle... It's a half circle motion with strong, right? And I can let it rip, in which case it's 280 damage, is really good. Or I can detonate it a little bit early. I think it gave me a little bit less damage, but the blast is there. I can even detonate it like right in my face if I want. So you get the idea. But some characters are going to be a little different. That's the basic gist of the combo system. You want to mind your spacing. You want to pay attention to where the wall is. You want to make sure that you can barrier where the wall is. So let's see what a character who does not want to get in. Let's see what they would do. So let's pick Setsuna. Setsuna is a straight-up zoner. He's a straight-up control zoner. So if you want to play a very frustrating, patient, long-range style, you never want to get in, this is the guy. Look at his... Okay, so that's his light. This neat thing is his strong. Oh. We're actually going to turn off retreat barrier because it makes it so that something... 308 damage. That's not bad. Remember, the wall bounce will make it so that retreat barrier is not an option. So glass coffin right there, that is a back forward strong. And it is a... like, look at this character. If you want to play a straight zoner, this is the guy. The coffin is fantastic. If your opponent tries anything, just eat it right there. And he also has this absolute darkness special, which lets him get around in absolute darkness. And he has another special, which I believe... Okay, so that dark cloud... This goes to show the variety of game styles. He can drain your meter. As long as that cloud's there on the stage and it's following you around, it's just draining your Psi meter. It's pretty neat, actually. And I'm missing something. Alright, he also has this thing, which just hold the button down and see how big it gets. 359. That's nuts. That is nuts. I don't even know if the damage increase is worth it. But it's space control with him, right? Up close, he doesn't really get much. I believe he's a middleweight. Yeah, but he can't really confirm into much of anything. Yeah. Be off that? Yeah. You don't really want to get into a slugfest with Setsuna, right? He's at his best when he's far away from you, keeping you out, playing his zoning game, setting up the darkness. Like, maybe once he's in, you know, he could start doing this stuff. And another thing, remember, you can aim. You can aim your stuff. That's just one example. Now I'm going to show you an example of a character that you want to get in people's faces and stay in their face and give them hell. And that's the main character of the first game, Burn. We will fight against... let's fight against Emilio. Why not? Well, if I don't get Burn's theme, I'm going to just do what I can to get Burn's theme. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, and also we got this version of the stage. Oh, hell yeah, that's sick. Okay, so Burn. Burn can get in whenever he wants. And he's good. Really good. 349 damage off that. And how much meter I spent? 40 meter? It's really good. He has one of the best special moves in the game, which is the half circle strong. So you might not believe it, but in the original Psychic Force, like, they nerfed this. This used to go like all the way. This used to cover the whole stage. They nerfed it, so now it's more of a mid-range thing. It's not a problem. Burn can get in. By the way, so that keeps them in place. You should always blow them up. He also has a, I guess, I don't even know if it's a command throw. Oh yeah, it's not a throw, so they can't grab it, but it's pretty sick. Yeah, he's just awesome. He's just cool. Look at that look at that literal rooster haircut of this guy. Red rooster over here. So yeah. Burn is an example of a character who wants to get in. Has a very, very easy confirm into his super. And has, by the way, most characters in this game have an install. Usually it's the light version of their super. In Burn's case, he gets these slightly more damaging versions of his strong attack. So his regular strong attack does 180. And the install version, I think, makes everything stronger. The regular version, it hurts just as well. He can't charge when he's doing it though, so it only lasts so long. But it does buff him up a bit. But you get the idea. There's a ton of variety in this game. There's Genshin, who's literally like a trap character. He sets out these talisman mines, and he's really cool. And he has a deadly rave, which is pretty fucking sick. Burn is very straightforward. He's just fantastic. It's like a truck. Main character, top tier status. But you gotta make sure it works. Unlike Regina's, his actually works a lot better. But yeah, I hope you guys actually try this game out. This pretty much covers everything. I think Psychic Force got kind of a raw deal. It was really overshadowed when it came out by Soul Calibur, and even Virtua Fighter 3 got more recognition than this game. And it's unfortunate because I think Psychic Force, had it come out on release, it would have done a lot better. It came out, I think, a couple months after the Dreamcast did in the United States, and it was never big in arcades here. And for what it's worth, I know it's only big in like Japan. It has a dedicated scene in Japan. Unfortunately, it does not have Naomi emulation as far as I know, because the actual arcade board was on the Taito Wolf board and not the Naomi itself. So mostly the game, if not played in arcades in Japan, was played on Dreamcast in the United States. I would recommend playing 2012 over the original Psychic Force, because the original Psychic Force is a lot simpler. You don't have the meter health balance mechanic stuff you got there. You don't have the hypercharge to get that extra damage. And I mean, yeah, it's just a more basic game. But this game is aged very well. There is a PlayStation version called Psychic Force 2, but I don't see a lot of people playing it. and there's a PS2 collection of all the games called Psychic Force Collection, which I have. But the Dreamcast version 2012 is the one most people remember, and I think that this game, yeah, it's unfortunate because it's Square Enix owns the rights to it because they bought Taito, so I don't think there are any plans to make a new Psychic Force game, which is unfortunate. But there's nothing saying that we can't keep this game alive in some capacity. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to see what I can do and try and make a Discord or some kind of community for Psychic Force, because I love this game to death. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's so unique. It's so good. I can't think of my life without it, to be quite frank with you. Listen to Burn's theme. Like, come on. It's so good. Look at this stage. This has aged fantastically from that era. As far as like 1990s fighting games go, this one still holds up. Visually, sonically, aesthetically. But anyways, I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to see what I can do to make some kind of Discord or community. What I can offer you guys is in the description, I'm going to post a link to a video to set up NullBear, which is an online way to play Dreamcast games. And that video should explain everything to you. What I am also going to include is the VMU file that includes all the saves that I made myself. It includes all the saves that come with the Bear installation folder and whatnot. But it also is going to have the unlock for Burn, Wong, and Keith, the 3 hidden characters of Psychic Force. So it'll have those 3 characters unlocked, and as far as I can tell, the only way to be able to play this game online is going to be through NullBear. So I'm going to do what I can to actually make that happen. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do want to give a special thanks to, I believe he went by the name Joseph Ong, the man who wrote probably the best guide on Psychic Force 2012 in the year 2000. FAQ, copyrighted work of just JCell Ong, or Joseph Ong, jcellanimefan.org. I looked you up. I wanted to thank you. I couldn't find you. So if you managed to see this, hey man, thanks for everything you put into that FAQ, for the stuff you translated, because that was probably the biggest resource I had for this. There's no wiki for this. There's no Mizumi. So I had to, just go off everything, off memory and research. But yeah, you guys, check out the VMU link I got, and you can save that in your NullDC folder or whatever to get, all these installs for like Marvel and whatnot. But I will post the Bear link. You guys can set that up. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a rollback. It'll be delay, but dude, this game's so good, I don't even care if it's delay, as long as people start playing it. So if you haven't checked out Psychic Force, please give it a shot. Play it with your friends if you can. But yeah, check out that NullBear tutorial, set it up, and please comment down here. Tell me if you're interested in this game. I will do everything I can to put something together, because it's fantastic. It's so good. Look at that. This game's so cool. Best. Actual best. I got nothing else to say, guys. I hope I haven't taken up too much of your time. I will probably make more videos about Psychic Force, and I'm probably going to make more videos about fighting games specifically, that I think deserve a lot more recognition and love. And I couldn't think of one that deserved more than Psychic Force right here, so I started with this. But I'm probably going to do a character guide, just sort of explaining all the characters one by one, and what their game plan is and what they try to do. So you guys have a good night. This is Stalker signing out, and thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.